I think it's not quite well.
Oh, yes.
All right. All right, good evening and welcome to the regular council meeting. First item would be adoption of the agenda. Move. Second. Adoption, all those in favor? Motion is carried. We have two delegations this evening. We have Susan Wood and John Mang from Comox Nautical Days Committee to talk to us about the upcoming Nautical Days Festival, which will be the 60th anniversary one. So if we take the podium front there, we'll hear your pitch.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us back again. I'd like to say Happy New Year to you because I haven't seen you since the fall of 2017. Way back then. We mentioned in that visit, during that time, that we would be coming back to council with some remarkably fabulous entertainment plans for the 60th anniversary of Comox Nautical Days. And that's what we're here to talk to you about today. I'm going to turn it over to the Director of Entertainment from the Planning Committee, John May, to tell you the wonderful things that the committee has put together and are pitching you today, in the words of the mayor. John.
You sit down.
Yes, because it's sure.
Yeah, well, okay, well, actually with Sue, I'm never on my own. Everybody knows that. Well, really, we're trying to produce some new programming and enhance some existing programming at the festival that is befitting of the 60 years that this wonderful community festival has been running. And we thought about this long and hard and felt that maybe one of the best things that we could do was, continuing to keep a celebratory tone. We would look at all of the local talent, which of course we all know is in abundance here. All the local performers and singers, composers, songwriters, and try to put together a performance and acknowledgement and a celebration of those that have, from the Comox Valley, that have great achievement in the world of music. And it's remarkable. There's quite a list. We've got Grammy winners, we've got Juno winners, Western Canadian Music Award, SOCAN, and on and on and on, Hall of Famers, etc., etc. So, it's at some point you can't have everybody up, but we're trying to bring together a group of individuals that we're going to hopefully have us do some celebration with us. Now, I don't know whether everybody had a chance to look at the notes, but this is only part of the program, but what we're doing is working with the Comox Valley Walk of Achievement Committee, who are interested in creating a special event that they may do on their own or in conjunction with us, and we would be bringing the same group of individuals together for a range of activities. It would include a performance. Additionally, we're also looking at enhancing some of the newer programming that we put together last year. With the building of the new sales buildings, we thought it was important that we, during the festival, we want to activate those buildings to the best of our ability. We want to get people in them and around them. And with the advent and development of the splash park, we've got a wonderful little hub of activity over there. I don't know if everybody managed to get past there, but it was just, there were like bees there. It was just a little beehive of activity, and then we had set tables and chairs up underneath the sails themselves, and of course we had everything from mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, the kids, everybody was in that area. So we thought, what better opportunity than to set up a second stage. It's a smaller stage for singles, duos, trios, etc., where we could have additional performance opportunities, and what we want to do is enhance that as well. It was enormously successful. People loved grabbing their food, going over there, sitting down, watching the kids, have a little bit of entertainment. The pancake breakfast was in that location, so it feels like a a way to anchor the activities around those buildings and continue to show them off as wonderful structures in addition to the park that they are. And that's essentially what it looks like. We've got a list of individuals that I won't bother running the laundry list right now. We've also created a budget for this, and it's primarily around developing a special performance on the main stage. And this would look a lot like the same sort of format that we're all familiar with, which is takes place at the award programs themselves. So you've got a house band that supports all of these individual performers. We work up 2 or 3 tunes for each of the performers, and then have a big "We Are the World" celebration song or 2 at the end, at the big finish at the end. So that's what it looks like. Sue, what would you like to add to this?
I'll just come up here and field and ask the questions that are coming. It would be the showstopper. It would certainly be the crown in the jewel of performances that we're planning for this year. Potential is to do it immediately after the BC Day parade or the BC Day celebration on the main stage. We have thousands of people in the park on that at that time, and showcase these internationally recognized Comox Valley entertainers and achievers at that point in time. Yes.
So just to put in a time, we're talking after the parade, the afternoon then, on the Monday?
What we're looking at is 1 o'clock in the afternoon after the official ceremony, put the band and the big dogs on the deck, and we have a big audience there, and really do a big celebration as a big kicker to the festival itself, 60th anniversary.
Between 4,000 and 5,000 people watch the parade, and then just flood down into the park, and it's a great time to do it. If in fact that particular time, and of course there's a parade opportunity here as well. There's a ceremony opportunity where we can recognize them. If we can't do it on Monday, depending on availability, we would probably do it after the interdenominational service on Sunday, which also has an excellent handover opportunity with existing audience, which if you're thinking like a programmer, that's what you want. You want to hold them.
How about the Friday, Saturday night formats from the past? Have you been pleased with that, or are you looking to continue with that, enhance it, or change it?
Well, our show starts Saturday, so Saturday night we're continue with the family dance, and Sunday night we do the family dance, and of course fireworks on Monday night. We felt that the afternoon programming for this is much more accessible to all of the families. Everybody can be there. We're not having kids have to go to bed at 8 o'clock and those kinds of things, because we really want to give due to these performers and give them the vast audience that they deserve. Because of their achievements. And we're, again, working with the Walk of Achievement coordinating group in Courtenay for the Comox Valley Walk of Achievement. And this is a close-knit effort together to try to make this work, because a number of these performers are not here, but would come home to potentially receive an award. And then we use them.
Yeah, some of them are in Montreal, New York, Los Angeles, still working for a living.
Yeah.
Councillor Margaret, you had a question?
I don't have a question, but of course I have a comment. I was trying to get a feel for what you're planning now and what was then. So I went to the museum and said, hey, what do you have about 1958 and what was it like that first time around?
It's 1960.
Pardon me?
You have to wait 2 years for that.
I'm sorry.
Councillor? Just for your information, we've already made contact with the museum.
Oh, I know.
And they're going to have a big show.
Oh, I know. Yes, I know. I was just
Commemorating
making
all of
a.
that.
I'm sorry. I was just making a comparison between what was and what is, and this is exciting. I love the approach
Well,
that
it's
you're
more.
taking with this. Considerably more, but
Yeah.
from that humble beginnings, what you've got planned now.
Well,
it's
but the
just
evolution
terrific.
over 60 years for this festival has been a
It's been
community
excellent.
effort and has been a Herculean effort to keep it going over 6 decades. It's still very remarkable, and we take no credit for that. We're just happy to be here doing it now.
Great. Councillor Arnott?
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were turning.
You mentioned funding requests, and I didn't see, was there something in?
No, we didn't.
given to us? Oh, so you haven't. Is that something you want to share with us right now, what it is that you will be?
1 million?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a chicken and egg, if I can jump in here on this, is because we have to know we have the funding to ask the performers to perform. Because these are, it's a legitimate job. We pay our performers to perform. And we know the cost of enhancing programming, and it's not cheap. So we're looking at a ballpark figure of $10,000.
And that's on top of what you normally get from the town?
Yes, it was additional.
So, yeah, any financial information, if you can give it to Shelley here at the town, we will be having deliberations on our budget starting the end of this month. Yeah.
Excellent. We're happy to do
Yeah,
that.
we've got a budget built, and it requires a little bit of refinement. Of course, what Sue is saying is it's really accurate. Is that it's a target.
Yeah.
And parts of that are reasonably solid. We know we're set up a 6-piece band to look after them or whatever, but it's a matter of
Who's going to play?
who's going to say yes.
Yes.
Well, if we can budget for it, hopefully, then, we know we can set that money aside should we need that, so.
Terrific. Barb, did you have a question?
Do you think there's any sponsorship opportunities that people can put their name to?
I beat the woods like crazy every year for sponsorship, absolutely. I think part of this is, sponsorship is an ongoing process. Knowing you have the funding, which is why we're starting here, because these are long lead asks. These people are very busy, and we have to get our ask in as soon as possible. Now, lots of organizations consider sponsorship in the spring, but our planning is well underway right now. So yes,
So you're
I think
looking up to-
absolutely, a sponsorship is the heart blood of it all, actually. So for sure.
Sorry, did you have another question?
Yeah, I was actually wanting to talk about budget too, and I wanted to make sure all your planning wasn't just time well wasted.
So they're the cheap guys.
Is there a sooner rather than later, I'm sure would be good for you to know, because
Yes.
booking these people can't be easy, I'm sure,
Yeah.
so.
So if your timelines are putting this into discussion at the end of the month, in and around there would be really helpful. And then we could get our asks out and know who's coming in, who's not, who's available, and what we need to do to hook it up.
It's important to get your ask out.
I was just going to say, you said.
I thought we jumped on that.
Yes, I was just going to go there.
Anything else?
No, that's good.
Okay, well, thank you for your presentation, and we look forward to receiving your budget.
Thanks for your
very
time.
much.
Appreciate it very much.
All right, so our next delegation is from the SPCA, and that is Kath Johnson, and she's handed out a bit of information here on the PetSmart program. So welcome, and you can use the podium there, that'd be great, so we can get you on our camera as well as not a live stream, but our webcast.
Those are big shoes to follow. So I'm just going to take up 5 minutes of your time, if I may. I hope everybody's
Yes.
got a little... Okay, perfect. For the last year, the PetSmarts charities and the VCSPCA, the Comox Valley branch, have been working together to try and deal with the problem of overpopulation of cats in the town of Comox initially, and then we threw it open to the city of Courtenay. I'm here tonight to try and get you on board to help us network. We have capacity for 400 more cats. That includes social animals, feral animals, but we need to get them spayed and neutered, and we need to get the money made up or used up, just so that we can get a grip on the overpopulation. I've no doubt at all that you good people have been approached by residents of the town of Comox saying we've got feral cats and they're a nuisance, like they fight and they scream at night and they spray and that kind of stuff. So a lot of behavioural problems can actually be dealt with right at the very beginning by spaying and neutering a pet. It's not only overpopulation, but it's behavioural problems too. So I'm hoping that with the information that I've given you, that you'll be able to sort of when those questions come in, we'll be able to give an informed answer and say, hey, you need to go and see the people at the SPCA. They can help you. Not just with spaying and neutering, but behavioural stuff as well. I'm just trying to think what else I can tell you over and above. There is a door hanger attached to each of the question and answer sheets. We've already done a pretty comprehensive mail out and door hanger blitz of the town of Comox. We're starting to do that in the city of Courtenay as well. But I've no doubt that there'll be door hangers left over, so I'll be coming in trying to get you good people to accept some at the town hall and maybe give them out to people who might have questions. That's it in a nutshell. I'm hoping that with the information that I'm putting in front of you this evening, you'll have the answers that people might have questions to in terms of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the availability of the scheme. The scheme actually runs out on June 30th. There is no chance. We've had an extension already to try and get as much done as we can, so I don't think there's any chance of an extension after that. So I'm trying to get 100 cats a month from Comox and from Courtenay, spayed, neutered, etc.
All right. Thank you for that. Questions?
Yeah, that's great. You answered the questions I had about your deadlines.
Right.
And I just wonder if there's any opportunity for us to promote it, whether we've got a newsletter going out and whether...
I think we just sent one out, but we certainly could put something on our website. I would imagine that would be and Facebook.
If you could share on your Facebook page and on your website, that would be amazing, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. All of the information is actually available on our Facebook page, BCSPCA Comox Valley, and feel free to link or to message me or phone me at the shelter, and I'll happily send you any information that you need, and I would really appreciate that.
Because it seems like a great opportunity, and that's a huge target too.
Yeah, it really is. We were awarded $68,000 to try and address this problem. Campbell River 2 years ago got $80,000. They managed to do 1,500 cats. So if we can do half of that, I'll be really, really happy. And it's I who's actually sort of spearheading the carrying out of the program. So yeah, feel free to give me a call, please.
Anything else? Councillor McKinnon and Arne?
Is there a feral cat problem in Comox, and if so, in a particular area of Comox?
Actually, you've got quite a problem with feral cats. Certainly around the Old St Joseph's Hospital. Also, and I believe it's Courtenay Comox, New River area is particularly bad.
That's the right.
On the Dyke Road, there's a big problem. You've probably seen all the eagles in the trees. That's because it's good pickings.
With the little bells in the nest?
That's the ones.
Yeah.
That's the ones. Yeah, it's sad, but there is quite a problem of feral cats. We're actually working with Kitty Cat Pals. Kitty Cat Pals, we've said to them, okay, bring us 100 cats and we'll stay in the meeting for you. And so far they've managed to catch and bring us 30. And of course, because the weather has been bad over the winter and that kind of stuff, cats being feral, you don't see them unless it's late at night or first thing in the morning. And nobody wants to be out trapping in this kind of weather at that time of night. So they're gearing up, we're gearing up, and as I said, I'm hoping that by giving you this information, if anybody approaches you with questions, you just send them to the SPCA and say, hey, they've got a scheme for that. There's an app for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Councillor Arne?
A little off topic, but what about rabbits? At the well, I know.
Hey, bye!
Are rabbits something that you can spay or neuter? Because like up at the PMQs at the base, there's hundreds, thousands of rabbits that start to cause structural problems because they actually get underneath things. Is there a way to deal with that? Maybe not through you guys, but it's just the question just dawned on me.
Yeah, the question of rabbits is perennial. It really is.
Yeah.
The trick, and again, it's like with the feral cats and that kind of stuff. It comes down to two things. One is responsible pet ownership. Spay or neuter your rabbit. Because even then, if you decide that you don't want it, you put it outside, it's not going to breed.
So people can bring a rabbit into like the SPCA and get it spayed or neutered?
We would only do that if they were prepared to surrender the rabbit to us. We can't do it for the general population.
Okay.
Any vet in the valley is more than capable of spaying or neutering a rabbit, and it's not that expensive, surprisingly. And in exactly the same way as if you spay or neuter a cat or a dog, it actually enhances and prolongs the life of the animal.
Yeah.
Because they don't get into fights, they don't like two bucks will fight to the death, for instance. The other thing is, and it's a sensitive thing to say, so I'll say it as kindly as I can. We're not trying to eradicate the feral cat population. What we're trying to do is what they call TNR. TNR is trap, neuter, and return. So we take the animal, we'll spay or neuter, return it to habitat. It maintains its rodent control qualities, but it doesn't promote disease because obviously we check the animal out before we spay or neuter. So it controls disease, and it basically keeps a lid on rabbits, rats, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Anything
I
else?
introduce some cats up there.
Maybe some,
I could like
more eagles.
All right,
Glad you
so
come
thank you for your
across.
presentation, and if you could liaise with Shelley Westrum here on whatever you might to be able to get us for Facebook and so on.
Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me this time.
All right. So we'll move on with minutes of meetings. We have for approval the minutes of January 17th.
Move.
Second.
On approval then, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. We have for receipt the committee of the whole meeting minutes of January 24th.
Move receipt. Second.
And all those in favor? Carried. And the one recommendation of that was support in principle for the concept of an enhanced promenade at the harbor to direct staff to consult public and other stakeholders. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. We have for receipt the management report.
Move receipt.
Second.
On receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Any questions, comments? I understand with respect to Mac Lane Trust that we're getting pretty close to finding a court date sometime in the next month or two, so we'll hear more on that once we know for sure. And beyond that, I don't know if there are any other questions.
Is there any update regarding the northeast?
I don't know if there's anyone here who can answer. I don't think you've been involved. I think CAO has. As far as I know, I think in our update from the CAO before we went on holidays, I think it's getting close. So that's the latest update I would have. I think you probably got a copy of that.
Yeah.
Making progress, ever so slowly, but getting close. Anything else? Seeing none, we'll move on to receipt of the regional district minutes for your solid waste management, hospital board, and regional board.
Second.
We'll receive that. All those in favor? Motion's carried. Any issues arising in any of those? Seeing none, we'll move on to bylaws. So we have for adoption, the planning procedures amendment bylaw.
Move adoption. Second.
On adoption, any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. And we have bylaw for water rates for adoption.
Move second.
Any questions on adoption? All those in favor? Motion's carried. That'll move us on to new business. We have the annual referrals response from the school districts 71 and 93. For receipt.
Move receipt. Second.
Receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Of note in there in school district 71 is that there's sufficient capacity within the present school sites and occasions that existing student enrollment will increase slightly over 10 years. And also that the Comox Elementary School is now closed for several years and considered surplus to capacity, with a footnote there that they haven't yet decided what to do with it. So more to follow on that as time goes on, and that both the Francophone School District is indicating no new sites required, but they actually need two portables now. So that's interesting because for a while there they were quite empty. So a successful program obviously there. Anything else? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is the appointment of election officers.
Second.
So this is, of course, pursuant to the Local Government Act for the upcoming local government elections, October 20th. So the appointment of Shelley Westrum as Chief Election Officer and Twyla Slonsky as Deputy Chief Election Officer. So moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. On to correspondence. We have a letter from Jeff Schultz for receipt.
I move receipt.
Second.
Receipt. All those in favor? Motion is carried. And with respect to that request, just ask our Deputy Corporate Administrator, where would that request go, I guess, to staff, I assume, for consideration, whether there's any proposals there in our capital plan for that side one?
There is not any plans in our current capital budget. What we're doing is updating our traffic study next year, so we'll consider that at that time.
Okay, so the author could be advised of that?
Yes.
Perfect. Anything else that's satisfactory to council? Okay, good stuff. And yes, a sure sign that spring is coming. We have the letter from Snow to Surf Society requesting permission to use Marine Park on Sunday, April 29th for the finish of the snow surf.
Move receipt that we grant them their permission.
Second.
I'm assuming that's the standard letter and follow up with them on insurance and all that.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. So that brings us to the reports from members of council. So we'll start with Council Swift.
Okay, I attended the Success by 6 event that was held at the rec center. It was good to see so many young families out there. It was really fun. And they did a good job with puppet shows and lots of cool activities for the kids, so that was good. I attended the hospital board, and we are still awaiting the helipad certification. Looks like it's going to be H1, but it's yet to be certified. Also, the solid waste committee, the waste to energy group is still looking at, or working with the subcommittee, and we expect to report in the next, hopefully in the next meeting. And the best news of all, there's going to be no tax increase from this waste management. So that's great, either to, for taxes or user fees, so that's good. And then yesterday I attended the SER meeting.
Thank you. Councilor Murdoch?
Nothing to add.
Well, I'll defer sewer to the chair of the sewer division.
Yeah.
Have that one. Water, we basically talked about the budget and approved that in its preliminary form. And also the UV has been installed into the water system, so you'll notice we didn't get the boil waters this time, and so we're moving along with that. They also put out this mailer. I don't know if you guys got this or not. Yes, it's something that's gone out to all the households to start explaining the what we're doing as far as the water treatment is going. So that was done. The Sports Commission spent a lot of time wrangling over the Sports Commission budget in that changing regulations are causing a lot of staffing increases, and so we asked them to go back and try and get their budget down in order. They came with a budget that would be neutral for this year. What it entails, though, is changing some of the times, increasing some fees, shutting down for 6 weeks in the summer, shutting down spring break at Christmas. So there was a lot of wrangling over how to make that work. We've asked them to go back and kind of rethink that and show us what the actual impact is to the budget for that. Because when you think that our increase from the regional district is going to be under $4, when you're doing a public service like rec services, I think it's important to know what the actual impact is before you just start shutting things down. So we've asked them to go back and do that. Committee of the whole, we talked about transit with some fare changes to BC Transit and really just simplifying how it works. So less options and a little bit cheaper in some areas. Taking some of the smaller buses that we had on for a trial run and moving them back to some mid-sized buses where you can get more bikes on them, and they were finding that people were missing rides just because they couldn't get onto them. An update on the new building for the regional district was talked about. Not much there. It was just a real, costs are going up, and so trying to keep it on budget. And emergency services budget we did, and they granted the Rotary Club of Courtney $20,000 towards the pickleball thing. So that helps us out quite a bit too. So that's my report.
Councilor Margaret.
Thank you. Just a footnote to Councillor Swift's note on solid waste, which I also attended. Our waste to energy assessment is now down to 2 technologies/vendors, and that would be WTT from Netherlands and Sustain Technologies from Nova Scotia. So both of those, of course, are being given serious consideration, and we should have some more information at the next meeting. Also, the staff submitted a grant application. For that application will be up to $6 million for capital investment, which will provide a beneficial end use for the landfill gas that's being generated at the landfill. So that looks like good news as well. Hospital board I attended too. And also, it must be spring because I've had several small neighborhood meetings. Neighbors, they're kind of anxious to talk about the town, which is a great exchange. I tell them how good we are, and they tell me how good we are, and everyone ends up being happy. It's good. That's the end of my report.
Find someone more than your family.
As long as we're not talking about bunnies, we're good.
No, nobody.
Councillor McKinnon.
Yes, Your Worship. I attended the Comox Valley Coalition to Prevent Homelessness today. Incidentally, I attend voluntarily, and there's a rep from the City of Courtenay and the Village of Cumberland that attend voluntarily. And I want to mention to other councillors that anyone can attend, and if you're ever interested, please, they meet monthly, and it's open to the public. I went to the open house, CVRD open house on water treatment at the Comox Golf Club, well attended locally here. Attended the Vancouver Island Regional Library Board meeting in Nanaimo. And last but not least, I attended with Councillor Swift the Literacy Week Children's event at the Comox Rec Centre. And yes, indeed, there are a lot of young families here in Comox, and nice to see. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Price.
Yes, and as has been mentioned, a busy time at the regional district, budget time. So in fact, since our last council meeting, we've had 2 sports commissions and 2 committee of the whole, and 1 board meeting. And most of that's been covered. With regard to committee of the whole, just one item I'd just like to bring to our attention. We did have a presentation on the service that we're not part of, but we put our own money into, which is the homelessness and the homelessness support service. And just that in between 2016 and 2018, there'll be 58 units of affordable housing supported by this service and us, which I think is quite an achievement. We will be being approached for our 30,000 for the Habitat for Humanity 2 new homes on Lake Trail Road, which is we're looking at 45,000 and 30,000 from us. They also, because there can be matching funds, so what goes into the service can be matched by BC Housing, and our money that we put in can also produce matching funds, and there is a letter that's needed from us so that we can get matching funds for our contribution. I think it's...
You did that.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
There you go. Showed you how certain powers. On the sewage, we're seeing a 6% increase per year. That was approved in the 5-year plan previously. No new debt is expected, and the Hudson trunk, looking at a May completion for that trunk, and the Greenwood trunk is going to be tendered and completed in the fall of 2018. And again, as Councillor Grant mentioned, with the increasing in construction costs in the valley, we are seeing a significant increase in the cost of Greenwood trunk. In fact, a 50% increase from 4 million to 6 million. But that will be offset by a reduction in the cost of the Pollution Control Centre. They're looking at being 2.5 million a reduction because we've had a great deal of success with the equalising tank at controlling flows, which has put off the need to extend the life of the outfall, so it's put it off for 15 to 20 years. So we won't see an increase over that, but it's interesting to see how costs are escalating.
That sounds awfully like the pump station number 2 estimate problem. Like the engineers just not doing good enough estimates, or?
I was at a meeting just at the base last week, late last week, and we talked about the Greenwood trunk because it's going through to the PFQ area. And I do believe they're going to have it out to tender by the end of March, because they want to get it tendered before the companies start to get more and more work. So this way they figure they can get better prices bid on than that. But
So there's a chance it could come under budget.
yeah.
That's a huge increase.
Yeah, 50% on what's essentially just laying pipes in the ground.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the engineering showed they had to put them quite a bit deeper.
I see.
They're 5 meters deep, they're going down.
So,
There you go.
And I also attended the Comox Archives and Museum Society meeting. We were working on more heritage signage, and we've got a great partnership with the town. We put together the signs and worked with the town to have them erected. And if there are any suggestions from council on locations that would be good to have an interpretive sign, do let me know and I will pass that on. And we've also got a wonderful partnership with the school district in producing the boxes of heritage information for the schools. And I also attended the regional district open house on the water treatment proposal.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I attended that as well. It seemed to be well attended at the one at the Comox Golf Course, and Councillor McKim was at that as well. So people are getting the information and seem to be pleased with the amount of answers they're getting to their questions. So, thanks to Councillor Ken Grant for chairing the last regular council meeting. I'll just mention that when I was away, but just before I left, I met with Mabel Elmore, Parliamentary Secretary for Reduction of Poverty, and just talked about some of the things we've been doing here in our community around housing affordability, everything from secondary suites to small lots to, of course, our partnership with the regional efforts. So I know she's doing the rounds of the community. Participated in an interview with Shaw TV, which I don't know if it's aired yet, but I haven't seen it. Just talking about things going on in the town and what we hope to do in this year ahead. Attended the Fixed Wing Search and Rescue Training Center groundbreaking with the Minister of National Defence and others. And Community Foundation Awards ceremony. That was well received, and lots of good organizations getting help with their projects. Yesterday I met with representatives from Shaw Communications, and of course Freedom Mobile is now part of their offering, so they're looking at working with our community as they have in the past to, I guess we have an agreement with them to renew that agreement and offer more connectivity for our residents and perhaps some of our businesses as well. CVEDS had its quarterly board meeting yesterday, economic development, and just of note, and you'll get some information on this very soon, the Shellfish Festivals are running again this June, from June 8th to 17th. There'll be some events happening, well, quite a few events on the weekend of the 15th, 16th, and 17th at Philburg Lodge and Park. They're basically going to take over that whole park for that whole weekend, and you'll be impressed by some of the offerings there. And you'll get more information on that as that's finalized. Significant corporate sponsorships are involved in that, I know, and also that's something that involves the Shellfish Growers Association again. So there'll be a few tweaks to some of the formats and some concerts put in there as well. So part of the Philburg concert series. And what else? Tomorrow I'll be meeting with our MLA, talk to her about issues that pertain to Comox and the province, and talk about things like healthcare and infrastructure. If there's anything specific you want me to raise with her tomorrow, let me know. Perhaps after the meeting, if there's any issues of concern. And otherwise, that's my report. So with that,
Well, can I just ask a question?
yeah, go ahead.
Do we have any idea of when the the base is going to be completed?
Well, they're building it now, and it'll be about 2 years, 2.5 years. Yeah, it's a pretty big project, 70,000 square foot building, so I think they said 2019 was, late 2019 probably.
I think so, yeah, and discussion right now is the CAF has these things called Yukon Lodge, you might have heard of them. They're like a Super 8 motel. They're looking at building one somewhere around there, and it'll house, it's like a hotel style, but 150.
Yeah, because they're going to have lots of students coming through.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, is getting people through. So it's going to be a center of excellence for search and rescue, that whole section of the wing, and so this will help offset housing some people. So they're just looking at that from, I guess to use an Air Force analogy, from about 30,000 feet, and then they'll get closer. So that'll be good. That'll help with that whole project if that happens.
Will that be on the base?
They're looking at off the base.
So we need to get our drainage fixed up so they can,
I'm sure.
Go somewhere by then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for the reports. Any questions? No media here, other than the cable guy. Public questions?
Something we said.
Public questions? And so that's it for our agenda. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.